Is that you?
Alright guys, it's Jay Soul here and I'm here with Jasmine Gates from the Black History Maker. And so I want you guys to check out my podcast, Out of the Box Podcast, on my YouTube page, handle Jay Soul.
And you can find us at New Black History Makers on Instagram.
Welcome to the Out of the Box Podcast. I am your host, Jay Soul. You are tuned in to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Out of the Box Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in to this segment. As I continue to grow this platform, I would like to ask you all that are watching to share this broadcast so we can reach as many people as possible. I hope you enjoyed this episode, but before we get started, let's have a word of prayer. Dear God, thank you for another opportunity to do what I love. Thank you for the opportunity to share this time and space with our guest, Goalden Chyld. God, continue to guide this show. We hope that our impact in our community challenges our community. God, please guide us in the work that we do and in our mission. Thank you for life and breath. Please keep us covered in your protection. Amen. So this week for our Mind Your Future with the Past in Mind segment, I want to extend an invitation to the third Collaborations event. The event will be held on November 21st in Leimert Park. Our MC is LA's premier female DJ, the one and only DJ Gigi Sweet. The Black Money Matters Act Like It brand will be vending. I will have hoodies, t-shirts, and hats. So come out and support this event. It's also a family-friendly event, so no need to find a babysitter. Come out, network, eat, drink, and enjoy the entertainment. But in the meantime, we'll be right back, so y'all stay tuned.
Tranquilo, hey, post it on the block. Tranquilo, yo tengo las llaves. Tranquilo, yo con mi pana en barrio fino, fino, vagando con los conocidos, yo no me doy ni por vencido, tranquilo, chico, oye mi pana, tranquilo, yeah, hey, todo tranquilo, chico, mi pana. I'm from Southgate, some call it the gate. Went to Southeast side, yeah, rep the west side, check where I reside, you know California Avenue. Know them boys on high, wear the pride like they attitude like bienvenido, ay bendito, soy el Mike, el osito, morenito with a baby face. I was looking for a Leslie Grace, santo, tengo variento como el Marcos. Mi pana se quiere ser narco, como Chapo, como Pablo. Oye pana, kill each other for nada. She got touched by a tío, so they call her hermana. Everybody wanna taste, she got the carne asada. Way the devil set us up is like nobody gonna. So I'm stacking my bread.
All right, you guys. So today's guest is Goalden Chyld. Our guest is an independent artist and a member of the Fruit of Islam and the Nation of Islam. Goalden Child's music is very cerebral and relevant for the uplifting of our communities. I'm so excited to chop it up with our guest this morning, but before I chop it up with Goalden Chyld, check out this video to see what type of time we on today. So y'all, stay tuned.
I stay out the way, my circle small to keep me focused. Used to think I needed all the friends till I got older. People around you say they love you, okay, time will show us. And what, cause we grew up together, now what I'm supposed to owe you? Love. We went separate ways, time went by, perspective changed. They say, so now you switching up. Yes, bro, can stay the same. I listen to these old heads reminisce on how they had the game. All fucked up, young and dumb. Wanna go back, but can't replay it. I ain't on nigga shit. Nah. Niggas ignorant. Word. Niggas can't be trusted. Facts. Niggas die too quick. I'm on my man Musa pass through, make my people richer. I'm moving godly now, like way before them ships was into God. I'm in a whole nother mode. Get my respect to be gone. We ain't out here begging for nothing. No, we gon' get it done on our own. I sat down and talked to some bosses. We talked about some projects we've been working on. I can't say too much about them. No, in public we speaking in code like switch lanes. Switch back both ways. Pause, I mean like both plays. Yeah, win-win, all games. Bet we tried to ask for it, but they not gon' give it, so okay, we gon' take it. You saw what Conda said, it's just a movie. I saw it and sell it, we gon' make it. Like you know, I'm tired of talking about what we can't do though. So much we can do, but ain't got a clue though. You could run a business the way that you move, bro. Multi-millions in a tie and a suit though. They know it too, they just couldn't let you know. Too much at risk if they told you the truth, so I peeped the setup, I had to put you on. Fuck what they risking, we win when they lose, bro. Hey. We only working if we think alike. Tried to work with everybody, had to learn that ain't how you live a peaceful life. We were just together, why you ain't tell me? I just wanted you to be surprised. Whole time they wouldn't understand it, I just had to let them see it with their eyes. Revolutionary talk, boss talk, not for everybody talk. Cloth talk, keep it real brief when you call talk. Only power moves, this ain't small talk. Oh, you thinking that I can't relate? Had the candles lit cause the lights off. So the food stamps to get the lights on. Eating ramen noodles with the hot sauce. I just had to level up, ain't nobody saving us except for us. And we out the bag, we just playing games, acting like $1 trillion ain't enough. That might go over your head, over your scalp if you ain't in touch. You know that we the chosen ones. You know that we got royal blood.
All right, Out of the Box family, help me welcome Goalden Chyld to the studio today.
Let's go, family.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, every time I hear that video and that song, like the God part always turned me up. Like it always turned me up. Every time.
When I first saw it, man, I was tripped out because I like to lead a creative space to my videographer D-Row. And he was like, hey, check this out. And then, when the outfits changed and he put the fire behind me, had me looking like a Super Saiyan, I was tripped out.
Yeah, hey, that goes super hard. That whole message is fire. But let's get into it. So I got a bunch of questions. I start shooting questions because I want to get to know who you are. I want the audience to know who you are. So let's start with this. Where are you from and where you grew up?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. So what most people don't know is I was actually born in Aurora, which is like a suburb outside of Chicago. I moved to Chicago. It's an hour outside of Chicago. I moved to Chicago when I was 6 years old. But all the way up into 6, I was constantly traveling back and forth in and out of Chicago, back to Aurora, because my father, he did a lot of work in Chicago. He did a lot of his music. He condoned in Chicago, and he was with a rap group named Soldiers at War, SAW. That was based on the west side of Chicago. So traveling back and forth from Chicago, but at 6 years old, I actually moved from Aurora to Chicago. And that's where I was raised.
Nice. Okay. So who is Goalden Chyld?
Goalden Chyld is your brother. Okay. He's your brother, in this mission, in this fight to ensure, that our communities are decent places to live, to ensure, that our children, get what it is that they need in home, at school, and in the community, to ensure that they become upstanding men and women in society. I'm your brother, man, that just really care, and has always been passionate about, advancing us and our people.
Okay.
Via music.
Got you. Okay. Because I was just about to ask you, like, how do you do that? How do you like fulfill that mission? How do you fulfill that mission?
How do I fulfill the mission, man? Just really staying 10 toes down. In order for me to connect and resonate, with a lot of the people that I connect and resonate with, it's really based in my ability to, have conversations, right? And build and chop it up and talk with the people,
in my community and communicate with people that may not necessarily think like me and see eye to eye, just to get different perspectives on what it is, that it's going to take to really bring us together. Because I'm really big on bridging the gaps and, not allowing, religion and, petty differences, and things like that to get in the way of our ability to work cohesively as a family. So just conversations, going door to door in the community with the FOI, talking to the brothers and sisters on the corners, in the schools, and a part of different programs that are geared toward pushing us forward, and then taking what I hear and finding a way to put it in my music, in a way that people, can relate to it.
That's dope. That's super dope. And what I love about the fact that you're on the show here today is that you're from Nation of Islam. I'm a Christian. You know what I'm saying? But our mission, like the way you see things, I see it the same way you see it.
Right.
There should not be no separation. At the end of the day, we all got the same skin.
That's
and we
right.
all got to survive this whole thing together.
That's right. Yeah. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches that a good Christian is a good Muslim, right? And when you understand the core values of what it means to be a Muslim and what it means to be a Christian, there are more similarities than there are differences, right? And I feel like we as human beings tend to be the ones confused, but God is not confused, right? And there's only one God at the end of the day. So really just trying to figure out how to work together. What do we agree upon, right? We agree, that our skin is the same. We agree, that we are being manipulated, taken advantage of, and abused, by this tyrannical system that we under. We agree that, we need better schools, we need institutions, we need hospitals, we need, business that we can call our own to create thriving communities. And on that basis, we should be able to work together. And that's really what it's all about for me.
Yeah, that's real. Okay. So how did you come up with your name?
Goalden Chyld. It's really a funny story. It really is not nothing really too deep, but I remember when I first started creating music, I had a variety of names, just young, really trying to find myself. So I think my first name was King Q, right? And then after King Q, because my name is Kadir Hakeem, and Kadir starts with a Q.
Okay.
King Q. Then I think I went on to Quaint. I was young, man. I started doing music at like 14 or something like that. Okay. Initially introduced to doing music at 8 years old, but taking it serious at 14. So I looked up a word in the dictionary. It started with a Q. God damn it. You hear me? Said Quaint. I like the definition. Then I called myself that. Then I was doing little live performances and, little talent shows throughout the city. And then I got on stage and I said, you know what, y'all, man, my name is Goalden Chyld. And you hear me? My name is Goalden Chyld, and I'm not changing it, right? And it was solely based upon, the meaning of Goalden Chyld, being the one, and then, some of the essence of what the movie was about. And then I'm like, I'm sticking with it, right? And that's really how that came about, just going through different names, and Goalden Chyld it is. Yeah.
Got you. So when you started your artistry, started at talent shows?
I can't say my artistry started at talent shows, because before I even, got on the talent show and the open mic scene, I was really introduced and exposed to music at a really young age. My father is the brother, you probably know, in the backstage interview with Jay-Z and DMX, who came through in the orange suit and spit his verse, in the cypher. So my father, got a, long history of, creating and doing hip hop and being on that scene. And my mother actually grew up in the church, right? Singing in the choir. So, that's where the singing come from. If you listen to some of my music, the singing and the melodies in the background, I got that from my mom. Right. And, my first time actually ever being in the studio was with my father. He gave me a poem that he wrote. He took me into the studio. I was too short to stand up to the mic. So he kind of sat on a chair, held me on his lap, and I spit the verse. And that was really me really being introduced to what it was like to actually create something in the studio. But I would see my father performing at shows and all of that, so it was really something that was harboring in me for a long time that I actually decided to take serious at 14 years old. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first break. I want them to hear your music. And we're going to talk a little bit about the story behind the producing of the music once we get back. So y'all stay tuned.
You know. Yeah. They
told me to change my position. I said that's a negative, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm watching how God keep on moving these people around that ain't supposed to be close to me. You gotta be patient, you know, cause the flower don't blossom the second you sow the seeds. I can't diminish my character following certain trends when I'm supposed to leave. Here to stay, how I'm talking it ruffle they feathers is making them feel away. Hit my brother, he told me don't let off the gas, say they need to hear what you here to say. I check the news and there's more of us killed today. Spirit ain't numb to it, I can still feel the pain. I don't trust none of these racist executives funding the music that help put us in the grave. You know, I ain't sugarcoating nothing. Nah, that's the reality. Find out how long they been doing us dirty, make you wanna finish them like a fatality. Hood to hood, talking to them ones, politicking on how we gon' change the mentality. Fought for the block, died for the block, didn't own the block. Now that's a tragedy. Told them all old heads ain't the same. Some send you off, some give you game. Study how they move, not just what they say. Wisdom don't always come with age. Broski asked me why I turned the money down, trying to see why I did not getting paid. It don't matter how much money that they offer when they wanna have your soul in exchange. Got the opposition sick of me, funny they act like they wanna be friends with me. Knock it off, cut it out, stop with the trickery. Know how y'all coming, I studied y'all history. Gotta keep the sword sharp so I'm prepared when I'm battling my enemies. No matter how much it look like they winning, it was written that we gon' get the victory. You know.
You are tuned in to the Out of the Box podcast. We are in studio with Goalden Chyld. And so, Goalden Chyld, tell us the story behind the producer of this music that you put out for this new project that you got going.
Dope, yeah. So we was kind of talk about it briefly. It's really an interesting and exciting story, you know, that I've come to learn recently that I like telling. So so being out in the community. Now, mind you, as an artist, you know, we always got people saying, hey, man, I got beats, right? And as a hip hop artist, I got beats. I need you to check this out, right? Mm-hmm. And being able to, you know, get to the level that I'm at as an artist right now, you know, I was getting that, you know, before anybody knew about me. But now it's like it's out of control, right? DMs, and you might know your cousin just started making beats. God damn it. You know, it's like, OK, all right, family. And I'm not even the brother to be rude or, you know, inconsiderate or insensitive. It's just like sometimes it just get overwhelming. You got so many people that want you to check out beats and, you know, I can't listen to all of them. So I'm like, OK, yes, sir. He said a brother come to me in the community, you know, that I was soldiering with outside, you know, touching the people. He's like, man, I got this young brother, man. He making beats. He cold. I'm like, OK, yes, sir. I got you. Check it out when I get a chance. Right. So I didn't know when I would get a chance. It was almost like, yeah, I hear you, but chances are I wouldn't really get back to the beats if I'm being transparent. But boom, I see him again. He's like, man, brother, I got this young brother, you know, that's making these beats. I'm like, okay, send me a link, man. See if you got something you can send to me. Didn't necessarily get nothing back to me ASAP. But as FOI, we secure our properties and our locations in the Nation of Islam. So it was one time that we was both securing a location together. As a matter of fact, when I think back, it was another brother's tour, but I just came with him to help him secure. So on this tour, the brother that was telling me about the beats, he like, hey, bruh, I got these beats. I need you to check them out. I'm like, we here now. We ain't got nothing but time. You got a link for me? He like, yeah, I got a link. He shot me the text, right? So I go back to the vehicle. The brother that I was doing the tour with, he go and talk to the brother that just told me that, you know, check out these beats. So I'm securing the vehicle. And I connect the aux, you know, keeping my eyes open. But I'm listening to these beats. And mind you, he told me that the young brother was only 12 years old, right? So when the beats come on, I'm really trying to, you know, make it make sense in my head, right? That this young brother is really 12, right? So I'm really tripped out. I'm like, okay, you know, you sure he 12, or you know, I just really wasn't understanding it. So I keep playing the beats. He sent me a list of like 20 beats, and I'm like, man, bro, this is really out of control. Like, and I'm the type of brother that I either like to be with the producer or in communication with the producer in some way, form, or fashion, so I could relay to him, you know, whether I'm liking the beats or not, or whether they need to be touched up, or whether it's just like, hey, this is crazy, right? So I couldn't get in touch with IQ at the moment. I just had the beats, but I did have a brother that sent me the beats. So I'm trying to text him, you know, and communicate with him, but he communicating with the other brother right now, and I don't want to interrupt them because, you know, we are securing this property, and I don't know what they talk about. So I'm like, hold on, man. Listen, man, I need somebody to talk to about this right now because this is crazy, right? You know, kind of getting a little anxious, like, man, I need to get some more clarity. Is this man really 12? What's going on? So the other brother ended up coming back to the car, and I end up being able to reach out to Leonard Omar is his name. That's the brother who introduced me to IQ. So I'm like, brother, this is crazy. This is out of control. And he looking at me like, yeah, brother, I told you. I tried to tell you, you hear me, that it was like that, right? And I'm like, forgive me. You know, I get a lot of this coming in on a daily basis, but from here on out, brother, I'm taking your word, right? And he got a little history in the industry. But that next morning, literally that next morning, and we had got done securing the property late, but that next morning I was up at like 8:30 in the morning on a three-way with IQ, his mother, and his father, and Leonard Omar, the brother who introduced me to the beats. And we just had a real powerful build, you know, just going over the fact that the brother is 12 right now, and you know how much time he got ahead of him, and how, you know, anything I could do to introduce him to my platform and put him out there. But I want to put out a project ASAPly. You hear me? So he sent me the beats. He sent me the beats, and I just got to working. So we weren't able to build nothing from scratch, but he sent me beats, and I was able to pick from certain beats, and yeah, man, just get to writing, and I was able to put out Radical. Yeah, Radical.
That's powerful. So your latest project is called Radical.
Radical,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell the people about the project and all that kind of stuff, where they can find it. Yeah.
So Radical, it's a really the project is really geared towards men really accepting our role and responsibility in the community in terms of what it is that we have to do, you know, to step up to the plate and ensure, like I keep saying, that our communities are a decent place to live, and really just being relentless about doing whatever it takes, right? Because I feel like right now we kind of lenient in a lot of ways. We cool, calm, collective. You got those of us that quote unquote know what it's going to take, but you know, something, whether it's fear, whether it's selfishness, you know, is potentially getting in the way of us doing what we know we need to do, right? So Radical was really just like a message, right? You know, a call to action, you know, to the brothers, to the men in the community, like, hey, let's tighten up, you know, let's get on our post, let's do what it is that we got to do. You know, let's not compromise, you know, our morals, our principles, and our integrity, you know, for money, you know, and material acquisition over ensuring that our children have, you know, better futures, and that our women are protected, the children are protected, the babies are protected. You hear what I'm saying? So that's really what Radical was about. I kind of go into how, you know, the music industry, you know, is capitalizing off of our trauma, off of our pain, right? And taking those of us young brothers and sisters in the community that are confused, putting millions of dollars behind them to, you know, mislead, you know, the masses, you know, allowing the blind to lead the blind. And it was just a lot, man, but it was really just like a call to action. And you can find the project produced exclusively by IQ. He just turned 13 at www.goaldenchyld.com. That's GOALDEN. Yep. She got it on the screen. Yep. Goaldenchyld.com. Go get that. It is not on streaming platforms. Got some game, you know, from an industry great, you know, informing me, you know, that taking it off the platforms was the best decision to make right now. So if you want it, you can purchase it exclusively at the website. And yeah, let's go. Goaldenchyld.com.
That's beautiful. I love that you're giving back to the youth and giving them a chance to come up and do what they can do independently. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of, like you said, they give them millions of dollars. And I used to get so frustrated. Like, why is it that they can get $1 million? And I feel like if I were to get $1 million, I would do the right thing by it. You know what I mean? And so you're giving it to people and you go see them, they standing on cars throwing money out. And it's like the people that's about to grab the money don't even know what to do with it. You know? And I'm heavy on financial literacy because I feel like every dollar that we spend, we vote towards something. You know what I'm saying? I was having a conversation yesterday with my sister, and I'm like giving this example. Like if we pay attention to Walmart. Walmart is owned by a family. Most big brands are owned by a family. That family probably have an estate for their family. Everybody live on that same estate. They'll have their own wing, right? And they're being paid based on us buying their cheap products, right? And so, you know, those families invest. There's investments and they got all the stock market. Private prisons are on the stock market.
That's right.
So these businesses are paying into that because it's profitable, right? So they're profiting off of our loss day in and day out, and we still spend with them. So now we're profiting. We're not profiting, but we're spending and voting towards that same reality.
Exactly.
You know
I bear witness. There's a brother that has a company and a brand called Trap House Chicago out here. And he got a shirt that I think is pretty dope, right? You just got to have a little courage to wear it, right? But on the front, it says support white supremacy, right? And then on the back of the shirt, it's a list of companies, you feel me, that we pay into, you feel me, that are actually supporting white supremacy, you know, in terms of investing in these prisons, you know, the school, the prison pipeline system and all of that, the whole nine. But when you say we vote, I like how you put that because we do, you know, where we spend our money, you know, we're making a conscious decision to either pay into improving our communities or pay into, you know, investing in the degradation of our community. So, you know, we got to be alert, you know, and keep our eyes open.
That's real. I say stay diligent. Like we got to
come on now.
Yeah,
that's right.
Keep our eyes open. So I wanted to ask you. First of all, I want to tell you how I remember meeting you, and then I want to hear what you remember about meeting me. Okay. So we didn't necessarily, obviously, meet face to face, but I started hearing your music. I think the first song that I heard, it was another song about you were uplifting men. I can't remember the name of it. But you guys were like in a liquor store or bodega or something like that.
Your brothers.
Yes, that one. That was the first song. The second one was Open Enemies.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a very powerful song. And then the third one was Focus. Because I told you that turned me up. So I'm like, this dude got it. Like he's it. Like I ain't heard of him, but he's it. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
And so that's when I started just really listening. You had the project and I bought it. It was the physical project. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Okay.
But the last one that you did physically, because I started streaming you after that.
Okay. I think it was probably Subliminal.
I think
Subliminal or Stand for Justice or Else.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I bought that one, and then you started putting out the clothing. This ain't back in the day. I'm like, oh yes, I'm rocking this for sure.
For sure.
You know. So then I hit you in your DM, and I was like, yo, I love your music. You know, I want to work with you, and blah blah blah. But obviously the time wasn't proper, and you was like, you know, sis, if the stars align. And I was like, right. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't do nothing but shoot my shot this time because I'm like, hey, I got virtual. We can do this.
Come on now, we here now. Ain't no excuse now. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So that's how I remember, you know, meeting you and talking to you. And since then, we kind of like been back and forth. I share your stuff, and you know, you repost it and all that kind of good stuff. So I mean, it's just been a good vibe. Like I can see you really building for the community, and I appreciate.
Come on now, man. I appreciate you, sister. I'm trying to recall, because I don't necessarily remember that conversation, but I do know that I have a habit of, if somebody reaches out, I go and check their page and see what they're involved in. And I do remember checking your page and seeing that you had been supporting me, right? And from there, I decided to follow you. And ever since I followed you, you know, I'm constantly seeing your work, you know, your post about the community, your podcast. And then I would scroll at times and I would see you wearing the brand, you know, so I'm like, okay, boom. So when you reached out this time, I think I've been following you for a couple years, but I was already acquainted, you know, with Sister Jai. So when you reached out this time, I'm like, okay, it's a bet. Let's go. And you reached out at the right time. You know, I just released the project. So, you know, the stars align, like you said.
Right. No, that's real. All right, y'all. So we're going to take our second break. So we'll be right back with Goalden Chyld. So y'all stay tuned.
Come on now, let's go. You know. Hey, Trey Bless, you went crazy on this one, and what am I trying to say? I got you. I had to match your energy. Yeah, that's yeah. Whoa. I had enough of the regular. They try to get under my skin, but I pissed them off when I said don't register. He ain't nobody without the material, so we went and got a plethora. I told him to cut out the extra. We're doing too much and it isn't impressing us. Lately the Lord been blessing us. Lately the Lord been testing us. Recently I did some sinning and took me an L. The Lord be checking us. Just getting started, ain't know when it finished. It's just the beginning, I'm setting up. My enemies talking about catching up, cause they know I'm way ahead of them, yeah. Whoa, who you know walk like this? Who you know talk like this? Who you know, yeah, back against the ropes, back against the wall, still overcame, I did. I ain't put the blame on shit, I just took the pressure to the chin. Come to me easy, they think I'm a natural. Too many followers, me, I'm a radical. They just be talking and saying whatever, they only got rumors, ain't none of it factual. I got the receipts and I got the records to back up whatever I say. I hear what you saying, but you gotta show me, you gotta put it on display, yeah. Was mad before, they about to be mad again. Back then, man, it felt like in order to get it, I had to sin. I gotta look out for the people, look out for the family, and bag the M's. I know they was laughing in, now they wonder what's happening, yeah. I was getting wins back then, I wasn't even in my best shape, I was still showing up your top 10. They was trying to distract me, they know I'm a problem whenever I'm locked in. I just had to move around to clear the vision, they wanted me boxed in. I'm a man of my word, I lead a folly to the birds. They tried to kick me to the curb, but I'ma get what I deserve. And I can feel all that negative energy, get the stage, get the urge. I made my own lane, hit a few potholes, but it worked, yeah. Childhood wasn't PG, too advanced in my preteens. Grown folks asking for advice when I thought that they was supposed to teach me. Mama told me that she's sorry for how I came up, I wasn't supposed to see things. Don't apologize, mama, if I wasn't exposed, then I wouldn't be me. Yeah, from the concrete grew a rose. They was looking for some extra attention, but I'ma leave them unknown. I've been deep off in my bag, feeling bad to the bone. I was only worried about all the cons, I had to focus on the pros. Yeah, was mad before, they about to be mad again. Back then, man, it felt like in order to get it, I had to sin. I gotta look out for the family, look out for the people, and bag the end. I know they was laughing in, now they wonder what's happening. Yeah, you know. Woo! I ain't never just sing that soulful on this track. You know. Gotta try stuff different sometimes.
You are tuned in to the Out of the Box podcast. We are in studio with the one and only Goalden Chyld. So I want to ask you, where does your passion for the Black community come from?
Man, excellent question. And I gotta say thank you again, just for having me on your platform. When I come on platforms like these, I know we're gonna talk about the real, right? And this is important, in terms of changing the narrative. So shout out Sister Jai and Out of the Box podcast.
It's Jay.
Sister Jay?
Yes, Jay.
There you go.
It's all good.
Don't keep letting me mess it up. God damn it. Sister Jay. So I'm trying to see. Yeah, really just the way I was raised, if I'm being 100% transparent. We was always in the Nation of Islam, we was raised in a household where we was taught to love our people, right? That's something that we had to understand and embrace. Like, you should love your people, right? And being young, that's not something I really understood, right? Mm-hmm. But I just know that was, regular conversation in our household. That's what my mother taught us. That's what my father taught us. And, that was the conversation, that we would hear in the Nation of Islam. You should have a great love for your people, right? Yeah. And as I got older, I would say I love my people, but I don't really feel like the love really got to where it needed to be until I started getting really actively involved in the community, right? Mm-hmm. It's one thing to drive past, you in the car, you're driving past, you're not really paying attention to what's going on around you. But I remember I got to a certain point, and, we were always catching the bus, but I got to a certain point where I had to catch the bus on my own because I was traveling back and forth to work, right? Mm-hmm. And I would catch the bus when I was younger, but I would just focus on getting to school, wasn't really paying attention to my surroundings like that. But being older, having a little more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, just being able to sit on the bus, right, and stand at the bus stop and walk up and down the community and really just take a second to study my community, right? Study the people on the corner, study the people in the grocery stores, the currency exchanges, in passing, the people on the bus, and really just take a second to look back at the overall condition of the community that I came from. And the love, grew and developed on the basis that I saw the amount of pain that my people were in, the amount of pain that they were in, from the alcoholic, from the brother, that's strung out on, on different drugs and narcotics, substance abusers, from the single mothers, so frequently having to do so much on their own. I remember seeing, a mother carrying a baby in her hand. She had some children walking behind her and pushing a stroller. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I remember seeing all of that and just observing the overall condition of my community and coming from the nation, knowing that, we have been given the tools to help remedy a lot of the problems that we face in the community, right? In terms of understanding the knowledge of self, where we come from, what our true history is, the true history of our open enemy. You hear what I'm saying? And when you go to the root of the problems, that's where you really start finding the solutions to the problems we face on a daily basis. So just seeing the love from my people really came from one, being taught that we should love our people, but the love being developed on the basis that, goddamn, we really hurting out here. We really going through it. And then you had those one-on-one conversations, with, the different people in the community, from the brothers and the sisters. And, they start to relay certain experiences and things that they've actually been through. So now you're able to connect on a deeper level, because it's one thing to hear that our community is messed up. But once you start to get the nuances, right, of what's really going on in these households, what's really going on in people's minds, what they've actually experienced on a firsthand basis, it's like, it hurt, it hurt. So now it's like, how do I solve this problem? How do I rectify this issue? What can I tell him? What can I tell her that she'll be able to walk away with, or he'll be able to walk away with, and their spirits is lifted? What can I leave them with that they can use out of my presence that can help rectify their situation? You hear what I'm saying? And then when I learned the power of music, and the reach that music could have, that's really when I started investing more of my time in the music.
That's beautiful. I think that's important, that we understand that everybody has a story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's how we heal. I come from a background of psychology. I have a degree in psychology. I also have a degree in marriage and family therapy. And so for me to do it, I had to do it for myself first. Because what I learned was that when I'm going through the studies, they're not telling me about a situation that I could relate to. When it comes down to these mental issues. So they're not even unpacking our trauma. They can create it, but they're not unpacking our trauma.
Right.
So I had to go through the study and unpack it myself. And when I start to understand my story and remember my story, a lot of the trauma gets thrown in the back of your mind and you kind of try to block it out and just live every day. Once you remember and unpack, it's like, now I can become who I am, because this is what happened. But a lot of people don't get that chance and they're stuck. That's why drinking is such a big thing. That's why drugs are a big thing, because they're stuck. So that piece where you go out and you have that conversation, like I notice when I give somebody a chance to share who they are, they will do it. But when we cut them off and it's like, nah, you probably ain't really experienced that. It's like, now you undermine their actual experience and now they can't even process it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's super powerful work that you already do, because that's a part of it.
Yeah, I'm a student right now. I'm listening. It's crazy you say this, Sister J. Right? It's crazy you say that. It's crazy you say this. I was just talking to my wife the other night about, I said, man, boo, I said, I need a therapist in my circle. I need somebody, you feel me, that I can communicate with, to get advice from on how to deal with certain things, so I may just not be qualified, to address. You hear what I'm saying? And she was like, yeah, that's real. And it's crazy, I'm on here and I'm talking to, a sister like yourself, but mental health is really something that really needs to be addressed in our communities, right? And we oftentimes talk about mental health, but a lot of the tragedies that we experience in our communities are really based upon the condition of our minds, right? You know, whether it's from the loss of life, whether it's from being physically abused or abusing somebody physically, whether it's from low self-esteem, right? And it happens in the mind first before we carry out these tragic, you know, incidents in our community, whether we kill somebody or hurt somebody or this, that, and the third, rob somebody or jump somebody. A lot of times it's a thought that takes place in the mind, right? And a lot of times the mind is not in a healthy place. Hence is why we make these, you know, unsavory decisions, right? And when I talk to certain brothers, you know, on a consistent basis and sisters, and like I said, you do the work, you start to recognize that a lot of us are really in pain mentally without access to the resources to remedy what's going on in our heads, right? And man, a lot of times our brothers are going through so much and we don't communicate it. I done heard brothers say they felt like it was soft to communicate certain things, or they may want to talk to a woman. And because our women have been made so hard, they may try to open up and get vulnerable, but she perceive it as weak. You hear what I'm saying? So they don't really got this outlet to really express and communicate what they're going through. And I done talked to brothers before, and I'm like, hey, you telling me all of this, right? And you're not telling your queen this. What's the issue? Nah, bro, I tell her this shit, excuse my language. Man, she gonna say I'm weak. She gonna say I'm soft. And that hurts, right? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like hurt people, right? You know, that's where the abuse comes from in the household. I remember having a student, man, that I loved and admired, a young boy, come to work the next day. He's gone, and I'm wondering where him and his brother is. Come to find out that his mother stabbed his father to death, literally, right? And that's not to mention, you know, whatever traumatic or traumatizing experience she and the father was going through, but how traumatizing that is for those boys that are now trapped in the system because the school wasn't able to give me no information on where they at now. You hear what I'm saying? So just having those conversations. And then I know you've had experiences where you're able to sit down and talk to people and you see the light open up in their eyes, right? And they get happy and they feel like you've created the space for them to be themselves. You hear what I'm saying? Like that type of culture is what I feel like we need to create in our community, because this is the type of energy that you can bring your atmosphere to wherever you are when you have these tools, the tools that you got and the tools that I'm working to develop. I don't care where I go. I bring my atmosphere. And it could have went from being one of these to now, damn, bro, I appreciate you. That was real. I needed to hear that. You hear what I'm saying? So through the music and through these conversations and these platforms, I feel like we can really do a phenomenal job in pushing the envelope in terms of rectifying the condition of our minds.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And I also worked in social work as well. I just quit my job because I could not do it anymore. As far as the system goes, right? Because like I'm working in my community, right? I see people going through these different scenarios and situations, and I'm like, okay, well, let's problem solve.
Right.
But the system isn't made to problem solve.
It's not.
This problem solving is just rip the kid out the family. Let's further traumatize them, make them uncomfortable, put them in a household where they don't know anybody, and then give them a therapist that they don't trust and expect them to open up and tell more information about what's going on in their family, and then further break up the family. It's like, where is the solution? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I can't do that anymore. Like I can't do that anymore. So I think that like there's so much that needs to be done, because I think that if there was Black therapists who had understanding of the community and they can help heal the community, that's different. But it's not enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to figure out a way. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to do it in a non-traditional way. Because if we do it the traditional way, it's the same thing. I don't trust that person. I don't know them and blah, blah, blah. But if I just come up to you and have a conversation like, hey, what's going on? Like, I see, you know, you look a little down today. And I just keep asking questions of care. It's like, well, I'm feeling like this. Now they open up, and it's like at the end of the conversation, it's a, dang, I ain't think about it like that. You know,
that's real.
It just opens up. It opens people up. So
no, you doing it, man. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Nah, just the non-traditional way. I feel like, you know, figuring out a non-traditional way to make this happen and creating a movement around it, right? Yeah. We keep hearing this mental health, because I feel like now we're starting to recognize how serious mental health is.
Right.
And if there was a culture, right, a loving culture, right, that we created in our community, and I feel like we can create it, because regardless of what the media promotes on us, or advertise on us or says about us, we are loving people.
Right.
And have we not been put in these circumstances and under these conditions, our community will reflect the love that really resides inside of our hearts. We just need a space to be who we are naturally, right?
Yeah.
Which is loving people. I feel like we need to start some type of movement and create a culture where we just talk to each other, right? But in order for us to do that, we kind of got to learn the do's and don'ts, right? How not to approach an individual, how to properly approach an individual, how to assess, where a person is, without them even opening their mouth. Like, you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all of that type of stuff is big. And I feel like if we create that culture, because I feel like another issue is we feel like we need a lot of money to go and get the help we need.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I got to pay somebody.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
keep going. I'm just
no, just to pay somebody. I need some help. Like, I'm going through something right now. My family may not be able to help me, but I need some help. And I hear the therapists are out there, but I ain't got, $1,000 to pay nobody right now. And I need somebody to talk to, right? And the same way you may go get training to learn CPR and this, that, and the third, I feel like we need to learn how to properly communicate with each other, right? And learn what landmines not to step on when talking to somebody, right? The do's and don'ts, like I said, and I feel like if we implement that, man, we'll really start to, because before people lose their minds, I feel like they're at a point where it can be prevented. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they just had somebody to communicate to and vent with and talk about their feelings, because I feel like what happens is it's so much pressure on them at a certain point that they eventually, but if I could, burst that bubble, and relieve some of that pressure, so now you can think clearly, then boom, on that basis, we can start working towards repairing or rectifying the trauma that you might have experienced. So yeah, this is beautiful. This is beautiful what you're doing.
Nah, thank you. And it's called processing, because what you just described, like that overwhelm, it's like I have one instant, and then I have another instance, then I have another one and another one, and I hadn't talked about any of them, so they're all just piling up. So now if you imagine, like, your head gets big like a balloon, and then eventually once that last one that hits that straw pops it, now it's a wrap. It's literally about processing. To process through a lot of the stuff that we dealt with. I mean, and that goes back generationally. This is not just my life. This is my life, my parents' life, my grandparents, because we all have that lineage of things that happen that cause us to even think the way we do.
Right.
So
what is processing? Look, can you just give us a few pointers on what that may look like?
So it just looks like, so for instance, my sister and I, we talk every day now. For a long period of time, we had no conversation. She was in the Navy for 13 years. And every time I seen her, I would bring up a childhood trauma that I had with her. We never resolved it. We never talked about it. It was kind of like, all right, man, just stop talking about it. So I'm frustrated, and she's frustrated because I won't stop bringing it up. Right. So she recently came back to California. She was living in Virginia. She came back to California, and she was going through the worst time of her life. Right. And so at that time, I'm like, sis, just come home. We got you. So from that point on, we just talking about different things, and I'm explaining to her like my feelings behind what happened. And we just, and at that point I was also in therapy. So I knew how to, process trauma a little bit better. So I'm explaining to her why I was mad at her. I'm explaining to her what I experienced, and then she starts to understand it. But then she also starts to figure it out for herself. Like, dang, even this probably affected her. So now I'm processing it. She's processing it. So anytime we have a conversation that's heated, we can actually process through it, as opposed to throwing darts at each other, getting back at each other and talking crazy to each other. You know what I'm saying? So being able to open up and have those conversations is really, really the big thing. But a lot of times we think those are taboo conversations.
Right. That's real. So would you, because I really feel like the community need this. You may chop this piece up right here, but this is important. So would you, let's say you got an issue that you want to resolve with your family. It wouldn't be smart in having this conversation, if you got a history of the conversations going sour, to start the conversation off with the trauma that you experienced? No, you got to
because it's
set it
kind of,
up different.
yeah.
Okay.
So you have to find a relational piece first. Like my sister and I, we both were molested when we were kids. That's where we related. Right. So we were able to kind of work through that trauma together and kind of talk about our own experiences and really meet each other where we were. And so then I understood why she did what she did. She understood why I did what I did. That opened up the floodgates for us to start talking about everything else. That was that one trauma that blocked us from even moving forward because neither one of us had dealt with that up until that point.
So finding something that y'all can relate on. Because now that's something in the conversation y'all both can talk about because y'all both been through it.
Yeah.
And then opening up about what you all both experienced. Now it's like we here, like we connected now a little more.
Right.
And I may feel more open or vulnerable. I may feel like it's okay to be vulnerable with you because you can relate to something that I've been through. And then on that basis, you can introduce other topics because now you know, like I'm communicating this with you out of love and out of concern. So now we can talk more. It's not like I'm trying to jab you. Like I want to rectify this.
Right. Yep.
See what
exactly.
Hey, you got to keep doing this right here.
Yeah.
You might have to, I don't know how you doing it, but this is, I'm telling you, man, I feel like this is a non-traditional way to really start to address what it is we experience in our dysfunctional families, man.
Yeah.
You know? And we didn't even come on here to talk about this, but I feel like this is more important because when you talk about addressing the problems in our communities, a lot of times we operating on the basis that we have trauma that's unaddressed, man, if we just being honest. And we ain't really had nobody to talk to, and we done developed habits and characteristics and traits on the basis that, we just didn't have nobody to help us rectify what we went through, right? Whether it's trust issues, I don't want to talk to nobody, I'm an introvert, all of that type of stuff, because damn, I went through this and it wasn't nobody, you feel me? Like my glass was shattered and there wasn't nobody there to help me piece it all back together. So yeah, this is big. This is big.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so I noticed that you put in your bio, let's start a revolution. How do you conceptualize doing that?
Man, we taught that self-improvement is the basis for community development, right? So if you consider yourself to be a part of any community, when you improve yourself, you improve the community, right? If you are part of that community. And when I think about, conceptualizing a revolution, I think about more of us gearing our daily activities and our lives towards improving ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? Improving the way we think about ourselves, improving the way we think about our brother, improving the way we think about our community, right? That's where the revolution really starts in the mind first, right? And on the basis that, like we keep talking about, you improve your mind, right? You really start to improve the community. So now I work on myself, I start to do self-analyzation. I start to address my trauma, and I really start to become a resource for the community, because in me rectifying my issues, now when I run into a brother that may be dealing with something similar, I can give him tools now, to overcome this. You hear what I'm saying? Right. Or I work and invest in my business and create a multi-million-dollar business that's Black owned and that resides inside of our community. Now we have financial capital and resources. You hear what I'm saying? But it all started with me working on myself. Right. Or, I started daycare, start open up a daycare in the community. Now, on the basis that I invested time and energy into this business, I'm able to help other families in the community. You hear what I'm saying? And from there, once you start to work on yourself, then you start to look for like-minded people, right, within your community, right? Like-minded people that are, intentional about going down in a certain direction in terms of improving our community. And then 4 to 6 like-minded individuals get together, and then we start to grow and expand, right? So really the revolution starts with self and working with not everybody. You hear what I'm saying? And it's the reason it's not everybody is because everybody may not be ready, to work, together at a time. Everybody may not be interested, or everybody, you know, may just not see it the way that you see it, but you find those people that do connect and resonate, y'all grow, and then you'll be surprised at how your example influences the rest of the community, right? Like I feel like people listen and watch, but they watch more than they listen. You know what I'm saying? Like they're studying your characteristics, your behavior. Like I hear what you're saying, but like I said in my music, how you expect us to listen when what you be saying don't match with the way that you living, right? I said that in one of my songs. Like it's not reflecting. Like, so I hear all of this good stuff, man, but why are you not applying it, right? You hear what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So boom, just being an example, and that's how I conceptualize the revolution. Like when we think revolution, we think, you know, gung ho, you know, real militant military, you know, going at the enemy's neck. But you'd be surprised how adversely the enemy would be affected by us just deciding to love each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. For sure. So last question. What platforms can the listeners find you on? Let them know how they can get in touch with you, how they can get your latest project and all that good stuff.
So boom, you can find Goalden Chyld, my music on all of the streaming platforms right now. This latest project and projects to come, until something changes or anything changes, will be exclusively sold on goldenchyld.com, right? So if you want to get radical, which I implore each and everybody to get, each and every last one of you to get, go on my website. What else? You can follow me at Goalden Chyld, GOALDEN_CHYLD. That's on Instagram, that's on Twitter, and Facebook is the same thing, just without the underscore. And I love y'all, family.
Yeah, appreciate you for coming through. This was the man. I ain't gonna say the best, but yo, I love conversation like this, like building. Like I love how you say we building, because I felt like this was really a building conversation. So I appreciate you for coming through.
And I want to come on again, sis. Okay. Not to cut you off, but I literally feel free to reach out. Like you just set the date. I really want to come on again, and we focus on mental health. Yeah. Because it's so serious, man, from losing friends. Like, I done lost friends, right? Family going through a lot. And our families, man, we got dysfunctional families. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. And we really need to address this. And what you said, oh my God, what you were saying today was a mouthful. And we just need to target this. So bring me on. I don't mind, whether it's next month, next week, sister, whatever you want to do, let's do it.
We're going to make it happen then, for sure.
Come on now.
All right, y'all. So we're going to wrap up our show. Thank you all for tuning in to the show with our in-studio guest, our virtual in-studio guest, Goalden Chyld. We hope you enjoyed the show. But before we head out, please be sure to check out my website at jgotsoul.com. We have so much valuable content for you to check out. We also have merchandise for you to purchase as well, which serves as a reminder that Black money matters. So act like it. Be sure to get caught up on episodes 1 through 14 of season 1 and stay up to date on season 2. Head over to my YouTube page and subscribe to my YouTube channel at jgotsoul. Thank y'all for watching, and we are out.
You know. Hey, look, this ain't just for my city, this for the hoods all over. I know we all can relate. Look, when Chicago gon' stop the violence, them little niggas wildin'. I wish people didn't speak on places that they didn't reside in. Yeah, you live in the city, but don't live in the trenches. Way before the quarantine, you was keeping your distance. We ain't never asked to live like this, but these the cards we was dealt, so shit, it is what it is. Man, they let her talk about my house, but ain't been in my crib. If you saw how I came up, you see why I did what I did. Survival of the fittest, shit is kill or be killed. He took his life cause he ain't wanna lose his life to his steel. I know some youngins paranoid, can't never chill or be still. Hard to relax when the ops on your heels, they want your blood spilled. Never really had a home, dad in jail, mama gone, a dad dead, and mom alone. When she at work, I'm on my own. This shit hurt, this shit painful, this ain't
right, man, this shit wrong, but we don't show no emotions. Can't have them thinking that we hoes, man, we traumatized. Need to recover, we moving so fast, ain't got the time. Wouldn't even know where to start, I feel like I'm out my mind. So many dead homies, I wonder how I'm alive. Say if I make it out this bitch, I give it up to God. Tell us do better, but don't show us how. They be too scared to take us with them, so they count us out. All that deep shit you talking about, don't put food in my mouth. Don't care how much you know, show us we who you care about. I get us, I'ma ride with us. I ain't gon' judge us, I know God taking his time with us. Don't blame yourself for all this shit, this a design system. They want you think it's all your fault, but they been lying to you. Yeah, I put the people on my back, I got the hood with me. They ain't rocking with everybody, but they good with me. I ain't the richest in my city, but my heart big. Say love way more than a couple blue hundreds and fifties. They been keeping us down, yeah. How we supposed to win if we put us down, yeah. Pick each other up from the ground. We can't keep on standing around. Keep the ship afloat or we gonna drown, yeah. Keeping us down, yeah. How we supposed to win if we put us down, yeah. Pick each other up from the ground. We can't keep on standing around. Keep the ship afloat or we gonna drown, yeah.